Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's had a wonderful week. I'm actually sitting down to record this before I head off to church this morning. We're having an outdoor service, and so it's starting a little bit later than usual. And I didn't have to play and sing this morning, which is a strange thing for me. I almost always at least sing, sometimes play. So I decided to take this time this morning because there's a song I've been listening to. I'm on Spotify. It kind of came up. I found it randomly. It's just one of those ones that just they put in new song music and stuff when you're listening into your list. And it is one that just totally has captivated me for the moment. It's called God You Are, and it's by We Are Messengers. So if anybody, if you guys have been following me on this channel for a while at all, you'll know that music is kind of like near and dear to my heart. And I receive a lot of inspiration, and it feeds my soul. Like, it's my go-to when I'm having a really rough day. I'm a therapist. Sometimes if I have to drive in between sessions, I'm worshiping and singing in between because I got to clear my head from, my last session to get to my, my next session. So music is something that just moves me and inspires me, along with coffee. If you didn't grab your cup, you better get yours. So as I've been listening to this song this past week, the message I loved about it is that he never gives up on me because that's the kind of God he is. And this kind of sent me on a journey because there's so many religions. I don't know of one religion or God that claims to love their people or to go out of their way for them. Like, we pay homage to all sorts of different gods, goddesses, whatever, over time. Some of them demanded sacrifices like our children, which was whatever, gross. But has any of those gods ever stated that they loved you? I can't think of one. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that is a difference in the way, the reasons, I guess, that I worship the God I do. Part of the reasons is because he's only God who said he's loved me, and there's so much evidence. And so I started looking through, and there's so much timelines and things on the internet. I had to kind of pick through and find what I was looking for. But Jesus came down to earth. He came down a little trip to earth that lasted about 33 years. During that time, he made interpersonal relationships with people. He was very kind to the underdogs and shunned people of his day. He did some pretty awesome miracles. He made a trip to the cross. He died. There was a resurrection in there. And a whole bunch of people attested this because they saw him in person afterwards. So they lived with him, worked with him, saw what he was. So he's that guy, the guy that did all those things that I don't think there's any other religion that could say anything even vaguely like this. So who is this guy? Who is this God that we say is the most wonderful, best one, only one who deserves our praise and worship and to be followed? So first of all, there's just a few things I'll touch on because there's a whole list I'm going to give you if you really want to look. But he came to earth in a pretty mysterious and amazing way. No one in history has claimed to be born from a woman who didn't have sex. No other religion or God has ever claimed such a thing. He's had so many prophecies written about him. Thousands of years before he's even born, people are writing about him. There's a chart that I Googled that had 47 prophecies and their fulfillments. And I'm sure there's probably more, but that's the one I found. It's pretty hard, even if you put this in a scientific test, to say that one person in history could have fulfilled all those things in 33 years, that there would be more than one person who could have done that. Pretty impossible. So the other thing I was thinking about is some of the prophecies said that he'll be dying on a cross, he'll be crucified. Well, we stopped crucifying people quite a while ago, thank God. Not saying it couldn't come back, but please no. So there was a very short chunk of history that Jesus could have actually lived and walked the earth based on the fact that he was going to be crucified. So that's been here, done, gone, what I mean. So that's there's so many specifics. Like those would be hard to replicate in a different person. So how does this kind of like tie back to the song I was mentioning? So the kind of God he is the kind of God who would start sending messages to us over 1,000 years ahead of time. So that those of us who need to see evidence, just see the nail marks in his hands like Thomas did, would have a set of things to look at and go, oh, okay. So all the things that he set in motion were playing out thousands of years, over 1,000 years, over a century ahead of time. Like hundreds of years. This is amazing. So many people talked about Jesus and they like reject him out of hand because it seems crazy, what our claims are about him. And sure, they kind of are. Like, it's so crazy, how can you not believe it? That kind of crazy. So that inspires me. There's so much evidence. This God the kind of God he is the kind of God that would send all these things and make it so obvious that they're fulfilled in one man that it is kind of ridiculous that we reject it. And the thing is the prophecies aren't done. Like, they're still happening. Like, he didn't just give us all these about his birth and death and resurrection. He gave us prophecies about the next 2,000, 3,000, however many thousands of years we're going to be. I don't know how long we're going to be here. But he literally gave us a timeline. So the prophecies about Jesus were written starting from about 1450 BC to like 500 years ahead of time. And these were all written before the New Testament. Obviously, Jesus was living in the New Testament time. Like that's the break there. We have the Old Testament, all those prophecies. Isaiah's prophecy about the birth of Christ is believed to have been written about 700 BC. While the birth of Christ is traditionally thought to have been around like 4 BC to 6 BC. Jesus fulfilled over 300 prophecies from the Old Testament, which specifically pointed to the Messiah. 300. The chart I found, I will add that into the comment section below if you really want to look at it. But like, there's so much evidence. He took exceeding amount of planning. Maybe it was nothing for him. It would have taken, I couldn't have done it. But he planned this out so well. And he continued to open doors and have little prophecies here and there, things that have happened where we can look back over the last however many hundreds of years and go, oh, I see that. Oh, that was in the Old Testament. Oh, there's that. Like, we can keep looking. So here's just a few. The Messiah would be born of a woman. Old Testament scripture, Genesis 3:15. New Testament fulfillment, Matthew 1:20 and Galatians 4:4. I'm going to skip down. Messiah would be a descendant of Isaac. Genesis 17:9. Genesis 21:12. That's the prophecies. Fulfilled. Luke 3:34. The Messiah would be an heir to King David's throne. Prophesied 2 Samuel 7:12 through 13 and Isaiah 9:7. Fulfilled. Luke 1:32 through 33. Romans 1:3. I'm just going down. Messiah would speak parables. Psalm 78:2 through 4, Isaiah 6:9 through 10. That was the prophecy fulfilled. Matthew 13:10 through 15 and 34 through 35. You can go down and down and down and down this list if you want to and say, oh, this is amazing. The last one, Messiah would return a second time. Daniel 7:13 and 14. That's the Old Testament scripture. Revelations 19 is when it says it's going to be fulfilled. Haven't got there yet, but I'm waiting. So my challenge to you today is to check it out. Look at the kind of God that Jesus claims to be and see if you can find it in your heart to do some more research, some more soul searchings, have some more conversations, and see that he's the God who never leaves. And he's kind of proven it. See ya.